And welcome back to ABCNews.com's Top Line. We're joined now by Ana Marie Cox of Air America. And Ana, I want to start with the Joe Wilson resolution we saw yesterday. I suppose the Republic has been saved from rogue congressmen yelling at
That's true.
presidents of the United States.
Much as the beer summit ended racism, I think that the Joe Wilson resolution probably ended all rudeness. Everywhere.
I sense a touch of sarcasm.
No, I mean, how angry do you think the White House is about this? By the way, I think that
they need to come to a resolution.
Exactly. I mean, this is a little inside baseball, but what is Top Line for except for inside baseball?
Exactly.
But the relationship between the leadership of the House and the White House has always been kind of touchy. This can't have improved it. Much as with President Carter's remarks, this White House would much rather move on.
But they're not going to be able to move on from that now, especially with the former president saying that. So what do you sense? I don't know if you've talked to folks in the White House today about Carter's remarks, but how they can't just ignore it, right? I mean, the president's going to go out and do 5 Sunday shows this weekend. He's clearly going to get some questions about this. Can he just diffuse it as he tries to do by stepping away from it, or does he actually need a little bit more like the race speech in Philadelphia and to take this on?
I was going to say, the pattern that we've seen over and over again with this White House has been to first ignore or attempt to ignore, then to downplay, then to perhaps have some kind of squishy statement, and then to have an enormous big event where they take care of the problem. And I imagine that that's sort of what we're going to see with Carter on some level. I think that this sort of actually sort of backing up to both with Wilson and with the Gates thing, race has been something that they were very adept in not having to deal with for a long time up through the election. What I think that they have not yet successfully dealt with post-election and post-inauguration is the fact that there is so much anger and confusion and anxiety out there that I don't think is a partisan thing. I think it's much more wide-based than that. I went to the 9/12 rallies on Saturday, and while there were some offensive signs, and there were some people accusing him of being a socialist, or there was mostly, I think, that the mood was of just sort of anxiety, even more than fear. And I think that it's impossible to say that the president's race does not play a part in feeding that anxiety, if only because it's just so different.
Right.
To have a black man in the White House is such a different thing.
Right. Ascribing personal motivation is different, but they're saying that it's part of it.
Right.
Exactly. On healthcare, this strange spectacle. We've been waiting forever for a finance committee bill. We expect it to be a bipartisan bill. Chairman Baucus is going to be coming out this afternoon to outline this proposal. There are 0 Republicans who have signed on to it.
Including the 3 that have been
Including the 3 that have been in the room the entire time, not to mention Republican leadership who are blasting and saying that it's worthless.
The Democratic.
And I'm not sure how many Democrats are on.
Yeah, I know. This is like Baucus's revenge. I know you must all remember that the backstories that came out when Daschle was up for Secretary of Health and Human Services, that Daschle once called Max Baucus the stupidest senator. And I feel like this is just, this is what he's been waiting for.
But no one's listening to it.
But no one's listening to it, but he gets to have all the spotlight on him, and he gets to explain why his is the bill. And it's true, he's produced a bill.
Yes. That's probably closer than anything else that's out there to what President Obama talked about last week.
I've been predicting on your show for a while now that one of the only things I know we'll get in is the modernization of health records. Debbie Wasserman Schultz convinced me we're also going to get in the removal of caps for lifetime and annual. That I also predict will be in there, and then who knows? I mean,
bold prediction.
Squish.
I want to turn your attention for a moment to this Acorn controversy that we have seen out there. Is this something that is simply going by the American public at large and is just a partisan sort of battle and drives the base kind of crazy?
I think it's a little early to tell.
Okay.
It's one of those things, as y'all said, that the video is so stunning. Just jaw-droppingly awful, really. That it's hard not to want to play it. I know that I imagine some networks might have it on their evening news,
perhaps.
And it might be in a little sidebar on someone's website. I might play some of it on my radio show. It's hard to not pick up on that candy of that video. But it's also really tough to say how closely is Acorn related to Democrats? How closely are they related to the administration? What sort of responsibility does the administration or does the Democrat Party have for any of this kind of behavior?
But it all gets wrapped up in this now.
Yeah.
Ana Marie Cox, Air America. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
That does it for this edition of Top Line. Be sure to click us on again tomorrow.
Twitter.com/The Note. Marvel Comics T-shirts for everyone.
I mean, that's amazing.
This is going to be the new look at the Top Line set as long as Disney. We love it.
That's right. I don't wear time.